What's one thing you wish you would have known before you started your process?
Man. One thing I wish I would have known before I started this. That there's no off button. You know? There's really no off button. There's no break. Even if you want to break, there is no break. And it's, I signed up for it. And I'm obsessed with it. And I love it. But those times where you want to break, there is no break. You feel me? Because there's always something going on with your career. There's always something happening. And you got to find those times to take mental breaks. I think mental health is a really, really big thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's very, very important, especially when you're trying to be an artist or you're putting yourself out there, you know? It's terrifying. It's like, it freaks people out. And I think a lot of people are like crippled by fear, which is not a great thing. You know what I'm saying? I think like they're paralyzed by their own fear, and they're paralyzed by the fear of like criticism to the point where they don't move. They do nothing, they be nothing. My thing is like, if you just flip fear, if you run directly at fear, your fears end up becoming this like sort of fuel. You know what I mean? They end up becoming this motivator where it's like, now when I used to be terrified to do shows, to go on stage. You know what I mean? And it was like, I was 17, 18, I'm 26 now. But I was terrified. And I used to be like, they don't know my songs, like whatever. And I was terrified. I just was like, and I convinced myself that I hate doing shows because of that. But then what started happening was like, you know what? Let me just do it. And so like you kept running right at fear to the point now, like if I feel scared of something, I'm going right towards it head first because I'm like, yo, on the other side of this fear is growth. You feel me? And that's what I'm on.
All right, what up, world? Hemingway checking in, and we are back with another episode of Unwritten Rules. As you know, in this game of entertainment or in the game of entrepreneurship, there's no exact handbook. There are no exact rules to how to do these things, man. How to do the shit we're trying to do. So we kind of gotta decode the rules and decode the game and figure it out on the fly. So I am here with this series to try to gather information, gain information, and relay information to other artists that are trying to figure out how to get started and stay successful at what they're doing. I'm figuring it out as well. I ain't got all the answers, but that's what this whole thing is about. So before I get any further into this thing, man, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube page. Go ahead and ring that notification bell. That way you'll get the notifications for all my videos, my music videos, Unwritten Rules series, my reaction videos, everything in between. Now, today I have a video clip of Russ, and this is like a Forbes Q&A panel or whatever. So he's speaking to some people. I think it's 2018. So asking questions basically about just his career in the game and certain things about certain aspects of his POV on shit. And two particular things that he spoke on were mental health and fear, ultimately. And that's two things that I feel like I can kind of relate to. Like when he talked about mental health and how important that is, taking a mental break specifically is what he said. A lot of people got to realize when you are an aspiring artist, there's a certain amount of work and work ethic that has to be done. Like it's a certain capacity at which that shit has to be done. And it's a lot. Like it's really a lot. Like I've had to come to that conclusion of how much work it really is to even get on or build yourself up to be a like a small or like a whatever tier, like an upcoming aspiring independent brand or artist or company or business, as well as to be a high level brand, company, or business and succeed on that level. Like that, it's all different levels of hard work, but just to get it going is a lot of hard work. And what a lot of people don't realize is like with all that work you're putting in, you have to realize on the everyday, you have to make time for breaks. Just like if you are a very structured person and you understand scheduling and time management, you have to make times for breaks just like you make time for work. You have to make time for breaks for yourself and then make time for family. Like make sure you, even if you don't necessarily plan the time for family, yearly it's gonna be things coming up, birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, whatever, family reunions. If you can make it to some of these things, you should do so because it's gonna give you that overall, like it's gonna give you the balance of life to where you can keep going with the shit that you're doing. Because I can definitely attest to for a solid the first 6-7 years. Like I was just like not really. I still attended functions and family things and here and there or whatever, and like my friends and stuff. But I was really like not. I was like, nah, man, I can't. But if I do that, I'm missing out. Like it was FOMO, like the fear of missing out of an opportunity. And what you got to realize to all the young and up and coming artists that are really trying to figure this out and really trying to go hard and like no sleep and all that and ain't trying to miss no opportunities, take time to, if you can, if you know you're gonna be working, you got a 9 to 5, you work 5-6 days a week, and then you're doing your music out every night and all night, all the way up until it's time to go to work again. But like, if it's your mom's birthday or something like that, make sure you take a day off and legit just chill and sit down and do that. If it's your birthday, even if you want to still make some music and all that, cool, but just take some time to reflect on another year and like just chill and relax, because mental breaks, like they are really needed when you're trying to put yourself out there to be basically, as much as people's opinions don't matter, when you're putting yourself out there as an entity or a brand or a company, it's up. You're basically putting yourself out there to be slaughtered by people's judgment. Like, to be honest with you, that's all this shit is about. Like, it's you put things out there and create things to make services and products to try to attract people that are like-minded, but at the same time, you also will attract the opinions of people that are not like-minded. And it's America, or it's just the world. They're gonna give you their opinions whether you ask for it or not. That's just how it works. And as we've seen with a lot of artists over the years, like especially like through social media, with it being where it is now, some people those comments and things like that can make or break you. Social media, on top of the actual lifestyle you live in, on top of trying to be serious and be real and successful at that, that's a mental stress. Like that's a very stressful thing to try to really accomplish if you don't pace yourself and try to make sure you focus on taking those times for mental breaks. And when you get on, I'm not at that level yet, but I know what Russ was mentioning now is probably more so, he can speak from both perspectives, but I'm sure in that moment he was more so speaking from already being the Russ that he is now. It's always ongoing. He like, even though he's independent, he can do what he wants, you still, once you get stuff structured and going, they be getting booked out for like shows and tours and dates and stuff like a year out. You can't just flake on stuff, because then that's fees and lawsuits and shit like that. So it's still a stress. You gotta, at that point, you definitely have to, like, when you're on the come up, you can kind of just take time. If you really want to sit here and say whatever, if you're not really making no money and it's not messing up nothing financially, you can just take time. But when you are somebody and you're actually, this is how you're eating and you're winning, you can't just take time. Like, not just out of the blue. It has to be somewhat scheduled and structured. So you got to make sure you take the mental breaks. And like, at this point, I'm 29. I actually, personal stuff and music stuff, I actually have spoken to a therapist, and like, it's something that I definitely would advise people to do if they don't got friends or family or someone they can talk to. Definitely go speak to a therapist about whatever, life, stress, just to talk. Like, it was a couple times for me, and I probably may need to go back at some point, but I feel like just those couple times, it was just a conversation with somebody who I don't know, who don't really got no judgment, no attachment to my life. So that's what it was. Now, as far as the fear of things, I have my own fears, especially in this game and in this whole industry of like entertainment, right? Like, I feel like I know who I am as far as like morals and shit that I stand on and respect, but it's a lot of shit that you hear and you're not sure of and aware of what really goes on in this music and entertainment game. And even in the field of entrepreneurship, just becoming a business person, like it's certain things to where both of those fields are cutthroat. Like, music isn't just music, like it's business. So that's also a business. That's why I'm always gonna relate it to, because I don't know the exact like phrase, but people always say it's like 90% business and 10% music when you say music business. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the creative and the music part is the smallest part as far as the, you know what I'm saying, that, but the business part of it, once that's made, that's so much more of it, man. So the fears that come along with that, putting yourself out, like putting myself out there, you know what I'm saying, to be judged, like I was saying, that it is somewhat of a stress to try. It's hard to try to figure out how to find fans and how to find people that's gonna support you, how to build a fan base. Like, a lot of that shit, it is a bit of a fear for me. And even to a degree, I feel like, I ain't gonna lie, I have said this to myself. If I gotta go that hard, man, everything getting shut down. I ain't talking to nobody. You ain't gonna hear from me. I'm going ghost. Like, I'm going underground if I gotta go that hard. And that's where the mental break thing comes in. Like, it's a balance. That's real. Like, if you want to get successful, when you think about really successful people, you'll hear them mention about how they sacrifice so much stuff. And that's true and that's real. But at the same time, to the people that are right there in the lifestyle in which I aspire to live, there's a nice balance of, you know what I'm saying, success and then like happiness in the mental, you know what I'm saying, the mental space, to where I can tell, like, all right, that looks like the balance that I'm looking for and where I'm trying to, you know, the lifestyle I'm trying to live. So and one thing I do for me to face that fear is, like, at this point I'm just doing it. Like, my edits might not be the same, they might not be all the way consistent. Like, it's certain things I'm going to give up to stay overall consistent, right? To stay overly consistent. I'm putting these videos out and I'm going to do it regardless. My edits might change, I might be testing certain stuff, but I'm going to keep dropping these videos, and I have to do it in the manner I'm doing it, or it's just not going to come out. And if they come out, that's consistency. Then how the look is, I can work that out. Then I can, you know what I'm saying, like that whole process. But I have my ways where I kind of just got to keep going. That's the only way I can do it. If I start thinking, I get to thinking, and then it's just too much thought. So I just, at this point, I done thought enough for the next 20 years of my life, man. Like, and I still have to think on the daily and adjust and call audibles, but like, man, I can take hella action now and just adjust and stick and move. Like, that's just how I'm rocking. So get over your fears, face them fears, and just go, man. If you think too much, you're gonna probably be more scared than you were just initially with that first thought. Like, the more you think, the more fearful you'll get with shit. So again, man, I go by Hemingway. This is another episode of Unwritten Rules, man. Make sure you take your mental breaks. Just face them real fears, man. If you need to speak to a therapist about them fears, do that, talk about it, and that way you can get over that hump and keep it moving. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. If you like this particular sweater, man, y'all can get this sweater on my site. That is theleaderslegion.com. And y'all can get this sweater and the other sweaters and t-shirts and all my merch is for sale, man. It's the holiday, so go ahead and cop you something. Until next time, I go by the name of Hemingway.